This tree has to go. Hey there, so this is a video from early June 2020 that I'm backing up to try to take. This is, of course, again, prior to me really having GoPros and thinking through a lot of what I was doing in terms of trying to document. But I was wanting to start making videos, of course, about what I'm doing and so on. This is the road that I've been working on, and all of my videos have been on when they're titled The Road. But this is a very earlier version of a section of the road before we get up to a couple of the plateaus. So this is a lower section of the road. You can see, though, this dead tree is leaning into the road. And I know over time, it was always fine. I mean, I could take a car past it, my four-wheeler past it, my excavator past it. It was okay. Eventually, though, the thing is going to fall. It's going to fall into the road. So once I went forward with making a really nice road, it'd be even harder to move this massive tree. So I made the decision. Also, like, if I was going to bring big pieces of equipment, like dump trucks and stuff like that up through here, it leans into the road. Something really tall might actually run a risk of hitting it. So the goal, of course, is to take it out. So this video is, and I might have to talk to it a little bit more, my thoughts about how I was going to try to cut this down safely. Because, of course, you always run a risk with a situation like this, a dead tree. The biggest risk you're running is that the treetops themselves, the dead limbs at the top, fall down at a distance of 50, 60, 75 feet, not yards, feet. And then that could be very detrimental to your health. Could even kill you. So anyways, that's one of the biggest concerns with the situation. Getting the tree to fall the direction I want is not as big of a challenge. It's already leaning down the road, down the hill, down the road, which that's an easy thing to work with. So that's what this video is going to be. I hope you enjoy it. So I'm considering cutting down this tree. It is dead. Unlike the one further down, which you can see the bark and material coming off of it, which is much more disconcerting. This tree here, it's been dead. I know it's been dead for a while. It's got a loose limb on it there, you can see. I've got my Husqvarna 372 XP that I'm looking to cut it. When you're standing at the tree, you can see the bow at the bottom has it leaning down the mountain, which of course is beneficial to me. It's an easy throw down the road and I can clean it up with the excavator. But the limbs at the top start to curl back. So as you're cutting on it, they're actually kind of over you. Most of it though is still leaning away. So my objective is to start on this side of the tree to then lay it down the road. But the fear, of course, is that as I'm working on it, some of the limbs from the top that could be dead falling down on me. That's the risk here of this situation. Tree down. Of course, the best part was missed because I didn't want to be filming the actual cutting process of the tree. You can actually maybe still see the dust that it knocked when the thing fell down. It doesn't look that impressive. Of course, on the ground, you can see the risk that was all the limbs broke off. All the limbs broke off the tree once it did hit the ground. It was intact all the way to the ground. Like I say, if I had a GoPro or something on my head, it would have been beneficial maybe to watch it. But I thought about how I mentioned the risk of the tree. So what do you do to mitigate the risk? Most of those limbs down there, this thing, I don't know. It still may kill me or hurt me really bad. But definitely still, I had my hard hat on as a possibility. Another thing, I definitely kept, as I was cutting, I kept looking up. I'm wanting to see if at any point this tree starts to move. If it starts to move abnormally to a normal cut. Like I said, tree over there, that guy, I'm gonna let the weather take him because it's just too beat up. That's a tree that's been dead for too long. This tree probably died during the last logging, which was 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago now. That was probably, it's been dead longer than that. So is one like that guy down there. This tree, of course, I didn't want the weather to take it because it would have taken
its brother here with it, which they're both, you know, probably the whole root system probably would have came up if the weather, wind or something had blown this one down. But in terms of the cut, I gave myself a, you know, a nice hinge here, which most of it was dead here in the center. So once I cut it, started cutting its final cut from this side. But I gave myself that, oh, I'm forgetting what it's called now, but that notched cut into the trunk to give it some space so that when it falls, it's not pinching. So there was a, should have took a picture of this, but there was a gap here in the tree. And so then this area in here is my lever point at which it falls, but it doesn't get hung up here. It doesn't get pinched here, because if it does, it could kick backwards. So as you're trying to step out of the way or something, the tree, that trunk right there, could start to kick backwards that way. So I had my cut here, say a notch, and then I started cutting from back here down to get it going. Now, it was a little bit, usually it would get in deeper than this before a live tree starts moving. I was here, now of course on this side, it was starting to give way because it was deeper in on that side than it was here, which could have been problematic if the tree started to twist on me, but as I was cutting in, I could tell that it was already starting to go. So then I just, you know, you start running backwards to get a good view of watching it fall, and then of course it went perfect, exactly where I wanted to go. I wanted it to lay down the road, and that's where I ended up landing, and I am very happy to be a owner of an amazing saw like this that can help me clean up trees like this on my tree farm out here, and building roads and so on.
So what I'm showing in this video, unfortunately I was silly and had my chainsaw running while I was trying to talk, is that I had this stump, a taller stump left, because my first cut, I wanted to be safe and be able to stay focused on what I was doing. Then I came back, because of course I don't want the stump to be there, because I want to expand this side of the road. And so then I worked to cut out the rest of the stump down to the ground, is what I'm talking through here.
Of course, the next step was cutting the tree up into chunks, big sections, so that when I bring the excavator down here, I'm able to move the tree out of the way.
So that's the end of this video. It's a kind of a part one. I'm going to do a next video, which is when I bring the excavator down to move the logs that I've cut up here and the tops of the trees, the limbs and all of that further down the road. So you can see down here, as we look down the picture, the road goes down and then it curves to the right this way. This stuff can be helpful down here as I want to build up that curve. These limbs can serve as a way to help catch rocks and things from falling further down the hill. And I can build up, of course, build a foundation for increasing this curve. So that'll be the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please go watch the next one to kind of encapsulate the full kind of gambit of moving this tree around. And if you enjoyed, please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video.